go for it, Jim.
Is it recording now?
It is.
How come it doesn't show it? I mean, I thought it shows on people. Oh, it does show recording. Okay, cool. All right. Let's get rolling. So, hey, everybody. This is Jim. I think everybody knows me or at least received emails from me. But this is Danny Peavey. He's a certified StoryBrand consultant, and he's awesome. He knows StoryBrand back and forward, and he runs every day on Clubhouse. If you have an iOS device and you're on Clubhouse every day at 11 a.m. Eastern time, so you guys are gonna have to translate it. It's not Eastern. Oh, we got music going here.
I muted Paul. But go for it.
All right. Anyways, so every day at 11 a.m. he hosts a Clubhouse called Roast My Website with StoryBrand, which is awesome because I like going in there listening to talk about other people's websites and getting feedback. So it just helps me understand how to use the words and so forth. And he was very helpful for me today, talking about how you should use StoryBrand everywhere on your website, not just the main website page, but anywhere people go to engage, you need to use the StoryBrand wording. But anyways, I don't want to steal his thunder. He also has a pretty cool tool that he's still developing called 1 Week Website. And I'll let him talk about that because I'm not qualified. And so the format of this is he's going to talk for about 15 minutes to get everybody on a level playing field on StoryBrand, and then open it up for questions and answers. So if you want to ask questions in general about StoryBrand, or if you want him to roast your website, he'd be more than happy to do that too. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Danny.
All right. Thank you, Jim. Well, guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, I guess, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Danny Peavey. I am a sales and marketing consultant, a StoryBrand certified guide. I'm a dude to some of my friends. I'm hey man to other people. But good to meet you guys. Quick show of hands for people that have their video cameras on. Do wave at me if you know what StoryBrand is. Like if you've heard of StoryBrand, you're a fan, just wave at me. Okay, kind of. All right. So most of you guys know what it is. All right. How many people, just do a thumbs down if you do not know what StoryBrand is? If you've never heard of it. Okay. And then some of you guys I can't see. So it sounds like most of you guys are fans of StoryBrand. Well, what I'm going to do is, I know your time is extremely valuable. I'm going to spend maybe 10, 12 minutes just going through a couple slides here just to cube up what we're talking about. Really what I want to talk to you guys about today is how to drive more sales in your photography business, to be quite frank, right? The how of how we do that with using our words and how we communicate with people is what we're going to talk about today. But that's ultimately what I'm here for. Quick background about me. I've been married 13 years to my beautiful wife, Lana. We're here in Atlanta, Georgia. I have a 7-year-old boy, Griffin, who's amazing. We have a little Shih Tzu dog we just got, which I'm slightly, embarrassed about, but because I grew up with bigger Rottweilers, the dogs like that. But also, I'm not going to lie, she sits on my lap every night and I love it. But I run a company called Story Sales, and I just help small and medium-sized business owners drive more sales using the power of stories. So you guys know this is such a difficult world to communicate in. There are so many businesses. It's so crucial for us all to communicate clearly in order to grab the attention of our buyer. And what I'd like to show you now in the next 10 minutes or so, again, don't worry, I'm not going to bore you with like a lot of slides and different things. I just want to show you why communication is so important to your photography business. So after that, like to Jim's point, we'll do Q&A. If you guys have a website you hate, if you have a website you love, if you want me to, I call it roast your website. It's really just, let me show you, look at your website live. Let me share my screen and let's provide some feedback on the spot of what we can do to make it better. And then we'll spend the last 10 minutes talking about this product that we're creating for photographers to get a super clearly communicated website that's not expensive and doesn't take a long time. So let's see, let me share my screen here, guys. Jim, you might have to help me. Can you guys see a big white screen? Okay. Again, 10 minutes, not going to bore you here. So guys, you're probably nodding your head.
Danny,
yes, sir.
We see your slides, like 2 of 32 and 3 of 32.
Okay. Thank you. That's not what we need. So sorry about that, guys. Got to love Zoom. let's do this.
Yeah, there we go.
Is
Well,
that
nope, it went back to the two of.
Okay, no problem.
Now we see your slides one at a time with your notes and outline.
Yeah, and we shouldn't see any of that. Oops. Sorry, guys. Still the two?
Yep.
Okay, I know what I'm doing. Is this the one?
That's one. Perfect.
All right. All right. Sorry about that, guys. All right. So you're probably looking at the sentence and nodding your head, and you're nodding your head at the fact that most companies waste a lot of money on marketing, right? And the reason why companies do this is because we can't communicate clearly. Now, this concept of communicating clearly doesn't just apply to business. I'm going to bring up an industry. I think it's an industry that I know can be a hot topic for a lot of us, but you know, in 2016, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump ran for the election. Now, listen, I'm an independent. I don't have any whatever on these sides, but does anybody remember in 2016 what Jeb Bush, what his communication was about? No, probably not. What about I don't know, Mark Rubio? Anybody remember what his little thing was about? What was Donald Trump's?
Right?
What was it?
Make America great.
Make America great again. Okay, so listen, polarizing guy. I'm not trying to get into all that. Here's my point. Sometimes you guys may sell the best photography. Your services may be top notch, but people don't buy the best products. They don't always buy the best services. You know, if somebody's the best politician, they may not always get elected. People buy things that they can understand the clearest. Make America great again, whether you like it or not, it was clear. So, you know, just something to think about there. Now, for a lot of us, we start our businesses, and when we start our business, we create a website that looks like this. Now, if I was going to ask you guys whether this website was good or bad, what would you say? And feel free to unmute your phone if you want to comment. If you're not going to comment, I would ask you to keep it muted if you don't mind. And this is very informal. So is this website good or bad in anybody's mind?
I feel like it looks longer. She cut off 2 inches.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It depends on what they're trying to, what kind of photography they're trying to sell.
Cutting off the little crispy ends.
It's photography. I'm not.
Nicer.
I'm sorry. There's somebody speaking. Jim, you might have to help me moderate because I can't.
Same thickness, right? Which is such a flex. That's why I should take them like that.
Yeah. Let me figure out how to get in here to do this. I'm gonna mute everybody.
This is a flex.
Right. Mute. Right. Oops.
Yeah.
Hold on. I gotta figure out. There we go. Right, I'm mute.
Well, I'm going to, so.
Danny, you're gonna have to, I don't know how to,
Okay.
maybe if I don't want to take your screen away. Maybe if I reclaim host, I can control it. Let me try
Well,
that.
that's okay.
Do you want me to
That's
reclaim
okay. That's okay. I'll just go ahead. I know for the sake of time. So this website, for some that said like, hey, it's, you know, it depends. You know, this website is very clean, but the reality is that, in my opinion, this is a bad website. And the reason why this is a bad website is because the person that made it is somebody that designs things and makes them look pretty, but the person that designs this website doesn't know how to write words that sell. So if you didn't know what this person did and you came to their website and you read the word your journey, the words your journey starts here, well, your brain may say, are they a counselor? You know, there's a picture of a photographer. You may say, oh, maybe they take photos. You know, it's very, go for it. What was that?
Holiday travel company, maybe.
Exactly. Maybe they do tourism, right? Like, we don't know what it is that this person does. It's always funny though, when we start our businesses, like you see the words artisan and innovative and solutions. What does that mean? You know, like what does solutions mean? What does innovative mean, right? Like what does artisan mean? It's not clear, right? And the reason why this happens is, again, because there's not a copywriter writing this. This is just somebody that's making something pretty. Did somebody else have a question? Okay. So the guys, the thing I want you to remember is that people buy your photography services only after they read words that make them want to buy the products. So to understand how we need to communicate clearly, or to understand how to communicate clearly, we have to think about how the brain works. Now, every single person's brain, no matter what culture you're in across the world, no matter what country you're in, operates in two ways. One, we get up every day and we're trying to survive and thrive. You guys remember Maslow's hierarchy of needs from grade school. Survival is about bread, water, food, shelter, those things. For a lot of us, we're on a Zoom call right now, we may have those things in place. Once our brain has their survival, then the next thing we're trying to do is thrive. Depending on our belief system, thrive may look like more money, more power, more love, right? Like, what's that way that our brains are scanning our environments looking to thrive? You guys are listening to me speak right now, and you've probably already gone into daydream mode a couple of times when we had technical issues. Why? I'm not saying any words that are telling your brains how you're going to thrive, how you're going to make more money in your photography business. The second thing that our brains are trying to do is conserve calories. I just mentioned daydreaming. We daydream 30% of the day as a survival mechanism. Like our bodies are batteries. We only have a limited amount of energy every day. So if we're not communicating properly on our websites, on our marketing materials, in a way that quickly tells people how we're going to make their life better, and that quickly tells them what it is that we actually do, customers aren't going to stay on our websites. They're not going to read our marketing materials. They're not going to watch our ads. So if you think of every piece of information you give your customers as like an 8-pound bowling ball, what happens to a lot of us is this. Let's say this is you guys. Now some of you look a lot different than this guy. Let's say that I'm at a networking event with you, and this is you here on the screen, and you say to me, "Hey, Danny, what do you do?" And I answer the question like this. Well, hey, Tammy, thanks for asking. What do I do? I do like a bunch of marketing stuff. And hey, started the company a couple of years ago. Then my grandfather took it over. Full stop for a second. How many people we've all been at networking events where this happens, right? You ask somebody what they do and you're like smiling at them and nodding. And you're like, dude, I don't understand anything you're saying. That's like an 8-pound piece of 8-pound bowling ball I'm giving you, right? To talk about why my grandfather started the company. What if I continued and I said, yeah, after that, our fire burned down in our building, right? And we went through this crazy situation. That's a second 8-pound bowling ball, a second piece of information that does not help you to thrive in your life. What if I continue? Yeah, and then we added on a new service. Now we do websites and all these things. And yeah, we did marketing and then we did the websites. That's not helping you. What's going to happen to you if I keep on giving you these 8-pound bowling balls? Does anybody know?
Walk away.
You're going to walk away. You're going to drop the bowling balls. Carl's right. So here's the takeaway, guys. If you confuse in today's day and age, you're going to lose. What Carl just said, you're going to walk away. If you confuse people in person, if you don't know how to describe what you do in a way that makes other people like make their brain say, oh yes, I want that, you're going to lose. If you have a website that just looks pretty, but doesn't say have words on it that helps people to buy, I think your marketing is a waste of money. I think your website's a waste of money. If you're on a sales call and you're talking too much about your technical items related to your photography and you're not talking about the transformation that people want to have in their life, I think you're confusing people. In today's day and age, attention is for sale and everybody does not have a lot of attention to give. I don't even have a lot of your attention. If you confuse, you're going to lose. The good news is that it doesn't have to be this way. Story is a sense-making device that you can use with your customers to get their attention. So I want to wrap up by showing you this, and then we're going to go into some website teardowns. But tell me their favorite movie real quick.
Top Gun.
What is it?
Top Gun.
Top Gun. That's so funny. I don't know that plot. Don't hurt me. But that was Carl, right?
Yep.
Okay. Top Gun. Here's the cool thing that you guys can do with your photography business. Every problem, every movie, every TV show, I don't care if it's American Idol, Top Gun, whatever it is, follows this structure, this formula. There's a character in the story that runs into a problem. They meet somebody in the movie that has empathy and authority. They give them a plan. They're like, go do the thing, go do the plan. And then at the end, they're going to have success. And if they don't, there's a risk of something going bad. Right. So Top Gun. So Carl, help me out. Top Gun. Who's the main protagonist? Who's the main hero in the story?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. What does he want?
To be an awesome pilot.
Awesome. What's the problem he runs into?
His partner in crime dies.
Who does he meet in the story that has empathy, that knows how he feels, and that has authority? He's like maybe somebody senior or something like that.
2 people, actually, Kelly McGillis and also his commanding officer.
Beautiful. I promise you guys, me and Carl did not rehearse this, but Carl's killing it right now. Carl, what was the plan that those 2 people told Tom Cruise to do?
To get back in the fight and learn how to get over the death of his partner in crime.
Awesome. And then they're like, go do that plan. And then what happened at the end of the movie?
There is a war off the coast. He flies into it. He panics because he was put in the same situation where his partner dies. He comes out of it, regroups, and then goes back into it. And he's successful, and he gets through his mission.
So he saves the day. He becomes the fighter he always wanted to be, right? Probably avenges his friend's death.
Yep.
There was something like you guys can see the failure bucket. There was something at risk. Like if essentially Tom Cruise didn't follow with that plan, those things wouldn't have happened, right?
Exactly.
So guys, how does this apply to your photography business? Like what Carl just did was so beautiful, right?
Really?
If you literally take this framework and run your photography business through it, you can have a similar story that attracts your clients. You can put words on your website that attracts your clients. So what do I mean by that? Let's say you sell a high-end photography service. Your character is a mom. What do they want? They want they want great photography of their kids. What's the problem they're going through? Well, DIY, taking my own photos is hard, right? And nobody knows how to capture the look that I want. What did I just do? I just like provoke the problem that mom's going through. Then they meet a guide. Newsflash for everybody on the phone. You are the guide and your customer is the hero. Your customer is Tom Cruise. You are the guide with the empathy and authority to say, I know what it's like to want a great photo for your son. I've been doing photos for over 20 years. I can help you to get that great look you're going for. Most of you guys need to put a picture of yourself and your face and have a story about why you started your photography business on your website. Why? So that you can make your customer the hero and you the guide. Most people think that when they talk about themselves, they're talking too much about themselves. The opposite is true. If Tom Cruise didn't meet those 2 people that Carl talked about in the movie, Tom Cruise couldn't have overcome the problem on his own. Your customers can't get what they're looking for on their own. They need you to have the empathy and the authority to say, I can help you. Okay. The 4th thing is that we want to have a plan for people to follow. How many people on your website have a step 1, 2, 3, right? The next thing you want is a call to action. Is there a big fat button on your website that is strong, that calls people to action, whether that's buy now, schedule an appointment? If you don't have that, I feel like you're missing out on opportunities. And then lastly, do your website photography images, do your words show the success that people are going to have, right? So do you guys all see how like story could help you communicate your value better to clients? So I'm going to stop sharing this. Jim, I want to turn it over to you. Do you have anything to add before we start doing any Q&A or website teardowns?
No, I think this is fabulous. I gave a great overview of StoryBrand. This is great.
So guys, if you would like me, so I guess a couple things. If you have a question, unmute your line, please ask. If you have a website and if you're comfortable with me sharing my screen, bringing up your website and me doing an actual live feedback suggestion, I'm happy to do that. And we can do that for the next half hour. Okay. So any questions first and foremost?
I'd love some feedback on my website. I'm a high school senior portrait photographer. I also do sports and events.
Okay.
And I'm in Flagstaff, Arizona.
Okay, great. And I think I did see a hand raised. Yeah. And I'm going to bring up the first website, but yes, go ahead and go for the question.
And there's some Danny, there's some in chat. People are posting website URLs too.
Okay. Carl, what's your website? And then somebody that had their hand raised, I think that had a question. If you want a website tear down, just put it in the chat. But if you have a question, go for it. Just unmute.
Okay, so the question that I have, I don't have my website to share because I'm working on it right now.
Okay.
But I do high school seniors, and I've always marketed to the moms. And I've been thinking about this whole process, right? The plot, and it varies a lot whether you're talking to the moms or whether you're talking to the kids. The problems are different. The reasons why they need your help are different. So I guess my question is, like, who am I actually talking to on the website? Do I speak to the kids, but then it's going to alienate the moms, or do I talk to the moms and then the kids don't care because they're not there? They're not like in pain because the bird is flying in the nest, you know? This is a mom talk. And so how do I do this dual conversation thing?
Absolutely. That's a great question. So just to clarify, when you go through the sales process and you eventually sell photos to someone, who is paying for it?
So the mother is paying for, and I always have, the whole process is with the moms. But I've been noticing lately that more and more, it's the kids that bring the moms in, right? But the kids, I may be reaching out on Instagram or whatever. But then there's this whole process of choosing, like, who are they going to really, choose as their photographer. So do I switch and then talk to the mom's website forward? It's like two.
Yeah, it sounds to me, and we'd have to pull up your website and look at it, but it sounds to me like the majority of the time it's moms that are buying from you, right? So
yes, but
a lot of us,
the kids choose the photographer, like the images they like and everything. So, and then they go, I don't know if the kids actually go to the website or if the moms go to the website, but
who's the first person you hear from when the sales cycle starts? Is it a kid or a mom?
always the mom.
Okay, so you're speaking to the mom primarily. So what I would recommend, and for a lot of us that have multiple target audiences, this is a very great question. You want your homepage to speak to your primary target audience. And what you want to do is to create a landing page for every target audience that you have that might be secondary. So you're going to have your main company brand story, and that one is going to be the simplified version of your brand story that will speak to your primary target audience. So for you as your mom, but it also means that you can still have your story for the kids when you're in front of them. But for the sake of your website, you want your homepage to speak to the moms. It's a great question though. So what I'm going to do, guys, is just go in order here. I did mute everybody's line. So if I'm going to start with Paul Floyd. So Paul, you can unmute your line. Oh, I'm sorry. I said Carl first, actually. Let me start with Carl. So Carl, let me unmute your line. And Carl, what's your website?
Okay, it's I put it in there. It's kfmdesigns.com.
Oh, I'm sorry. Got it. And then I'll just go in the order there at the top. And it's okay if I share the screen?
Sure.
Okay. All right, great. Can you guys see this screen? Or see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so the first thing I would say is I don't know who you're selling to primarily. There's a lot of different types of photos. The first thing that you want to think about with a homepage is, what's one sentence I can write that grabs somebody's attention, or that tells somebody how their life's going to be better after they get done working with me, right? So you do a good job showing off your photos, but I would have some words that talk about the transformation somebody's going to have. So let me bring up like my website. So this is my website. So if you don't know what I do, you go to my website and it says, drive more sales with a clear brand message. So that's the main thing you're going to get from me. You don't have to use your brain power. It's like literally 3 seconds. And they're like, okay, great. What does this guy do? We're a sales and marketing consultancy for small and medium-sized businesses. So if I go back to your site, I know you do photos, but I don't know what types of photos you do, what you specialize in, but I also don't know, you know, what's that engaging sentence that's going to make me want to like read more.
Well, I used to have like 6 different websites, and then like I just recently put them down to just one because it was just too much to maintain and everything else. So like this is a work in progress.
Absolutely. And Carl, you're the first one. The first one always gets like, oh man. So, you know, definitely would be not meaning to be too hard on yourself, but Carl, who's like, when you think about the jobs you do 80% of the time, what job is that?
High school seniors.
Okay. So if you had a sentence that said high school senior photographs that make you look amazing, right? Or whatever it is, that would like niche you down, right?
Yep.
A lot of people, I want to say one thing about niching. A lot of people think that when they niche down, that means they're saying no to other business. That's the furthest from the truth. I believe that you should land and expand. So when you sell something, so for Carl's business, he sells high school photos. That's him landing the account. Expanding is doing probably the other photos that you can do. What about your family photos? What about your wedding photos, etc.? So I would encourage, go for it, Carl.
Well, I've always said that, you know, high school seniors is a gateway to everything, because for me, it's like I've had kids come back like 10, 15, 20 years later with, you know, they now have kids in high school, they get married, they have babies. I've done maternities, you know, like all sorts of different things, like, you know, family reunions, the whole bit. So for me, it starts with the high school seniors, where most people think it starts off with a newborn, but for me, it's not. It's a high school senior. And years later, they come back, they refer me to their friends and so forth and so on. I do about 80 to 90 high school seniors a year.
I would literally make your entire website, especially on your homepage, all about high school seniors. I would write some words that talk about that. I'm going to give you guys some free resources, because you're probably like, well, how do I do all this? How do I know where to put the words? Don't worry, we're going to go over that. But that's what I would do if I were you, Carl. The second thing, I'll make 2 other suggestions. The other thing is that you guys remember that the story example, right? Like there's a hero in the story, they have a problem, then they run into they want something, then they run into a problem. Your customers are going through something. They're like Tom Cruise and Top Gun. They're having issues. I would make the second part of your website, Carl, what I call the provoke the problem section. Write words that when people read, make them feel like you're speaking directly to their soul. Okay. Right? Like, are you looking for amazing high school photos? Right? Like, what are the problems people are having? Was that somebody speaking? I think it was Jim. Okay. So as an example, I'll just bring up another website. Here's a website right here. And what they do is they sell courses to help you grow your business, right? Let's look at this section. To increase revenue and become a more valuable professional, you have to master the basics of business, but there's a problem. Developing yourself is expensive. What you tried so far isn't working. Nobody's given you a plan. What if Carl had a section, and I'll say this for all your websites, what if the second section of your website was provoking the problem your customers are going through? Like if you sell pageant photos, right? Like, are you unhappy with your pageant photos? Why, yes, Danny, I am, right? So try to provoke the problem. This is a way to get people's brains to pay attention, is that you're speaking the language of the problems they're actually saying. One easy thing for you guys to do is to have a customer survey after every job, or hire an intern or somebody in like high school to interview some of your best clients and say, what type of issues were you having before you hired Carl? Take the language that they actually say and just put it on your website, guys. Put it on that section too. Like, use the language of your actual customers and put it on a second section of your homepage.
So what about a testimonial section? What do you think about that for a website? Yes or no? Yes.
Testimonial section is where you position yourself as the guide by way of having a piece of authority. So absolutely, I love video testimonials. I love text testimonials. I think a lot of you guys, a lot of people, small business owners are so humble. You need a picture of yourself, and you need a short paragraph that this is the empathy part, why you started your photography business.
Gotcha.
A lot of you guys have some beautiful stories about why you're starting your photography business, and you're trying to like you're trying to have your clients have the same transformation you did. It's very beautiful. Does not mean you're selfish. Does not mean you're making it about you. If anything, people are going to love your authenticity and they're going to want to do business with you more. The last suggestion I have, now go into the next website. Guys, every website should have a big fat button. Let me show my website. You guys see this big fat button right here on my website? See how it's bright and it stands out? Every website should have a big fat button on the whole website. So if I scroll down, there's my big fat button, right? I keep going, right? There's my big fat button. This is the cash register button, guys. You want, if you want to have, so Carl, for you, you want to have a big fat button on your website. Schedule a call, you know, and if you can go on mute, if you don't mind, if you're not, hold on one sec, get some feedback. So when I was ready to marry, I've been married 13 years. When I was ready to marry my wife, I didn't get down on one knee and say, do you want to contact us? Right? Like I asked my wife, will you marry me? That was a strong call to action. If I would have got down on one knee and say, do you want to contact us? Do you want to learn more? My wife would have dumped me. Right? So one thing for everyone's website, do you have a big fat button that has a strong call to action? If you're saying learn more or contact us, or you don't have a big fat button, I don't think your website's performing as well as it should. Right? So that's one thing I'd say. So Carl, thank you for being the first person. I'm going to bring up Paul's website, and Paul, feel free to unmute your phone. Let's bring up Paul's site. Let me share my screen. Okay. Here's Paul's site. All right. A lot of great photos here. So I'm going to assume, Paul, you also do high school seniors?
That's pretty much all I do. I do a few families, but I only advertise to seniors.
Well, I think your photo is good because, you know, this looks like a young lady. She looks like she's in high school. Similar feedback for you. Where's the words that tell me in 5 seconds? Like, I know you're a photographer, but where are the words, just like Carl's website, that tell me that you do high school senior photos? And what are the words that talk about the benefits that people are going to have working with you, right? Get high school senior photos that you know your kids will love, right? There's no words here that kind of tell me exactly what you do. And then similar suggestion, let's provoke the problem that people are going through. Let's add a second section where we're talking about the issues that people are having as it relates to their high school senior photos. I would make this section a little bit more about you. So really similar advice, to be quite honest. Really strong call to action button. Right now, you just have contact, but your photos look great. Looks like you have a pricing page. Do you have any specific questions, Paul?
Not really. I've been reading the books. I kind of know what I need to do, but
yeah,
it's got to get it done and find the right wording and interview some of my clients.
Writing words is hard. I want everybody to know that it is extremely, extremely difficult. For a lot of you guys, you're just going to really have to get that homepage right. But yeah, honestly, similar suggestions for you, Paul.
I like that idea of provoking the problem.
Yep. That's the biggest thing, guys, right? Like if you think of your favorite movie or your favorite TV show, right? Like if Matt Damon came out with his latest action novel or film, and, you know, it's just him walking around the movie for 2 hours showing off his muscles and how awesome he is. I'd look at my wife and be like, this movie sucks. Why? Because we all live life and life is hard, and our brains know, we're conditioned to like have problems make us feel like we're alive. So your customers have problems before you and after you, but you want to speak the language of what they're going through. You want to provoke the problem. A story does not exist if there's not a problem. So in my opinion, our websites aren't doing their jobs unless we're provoking the problem that our customers are going through. Thanks, Paul, for letting me look at your site. I want to make sure I give everybody some time. So Bethany, I'm going to bring up your site next, so feel free to unmute. So let's look at Bethany's site. All right. Giving you the birth support you deserve and the photographs that tell your story just as you are. Well, first I want to commend Bethany for actually, you have a headline, like you actually have some words here that are trying to, make an impact to somebody that lands on the site. So I know right away that Bethany does photos for moms, right, Bethany?
Yes, and there was supposed to be a picture there, and I'm not seeing it. Yeah, I've been working with Tamaya Coben Education's Mastermind, and we're doing the StoryBrand right now. So it's in the process. You'll kind of see a little bit of that StoryBrand coming through as we're working on it. I don't know why that picture hasn't popped up.
Yeah, I can refresh my screen, but yeah, I think you're off to a great start. And Bethany's a great example, guys, of like, wow, like she does photos for moms that that are expecting, right? Mm-hmm. Saying that really clearly. Right here she has her value stack. So these are sort of those success buckets I went over with the story, like, hey, what are those quick successes that people are going to have, like love your birth photos, capture the once in a lifetime moment, things like that, right? Or here's your photo here, Bethany.
There it goes. Yes, and so mine is I don't want to say complicated, but I'm also not just photography, but I also do like birth support as well. So I'm trying to infuse both of them together, and that's been fun.
I bet. Yeah. Where does most of your revenue come from? Is it the birth services or the photography?
The birth services.
Okay. So you're leading with the photography here.
And is that what it looks like? Yeah.
Well, let's see, giving you the birth support and well, no, it sounds like you're leading with the birth support. So great. I mean, you could position yourself as like a, sort of a concierge service for moms, Mm-hmm. Are you a doula as well?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah. Again, this will apply to everyone. I like it when people take that the main thing that people come to them for, or the main audience that comes to you, that again, thinking land and expand and leading with that, but then expanding with your other services. So for you in your business, and you probably already do this, is to have an option for like if you had a pricing table with 3 options, your doula could be your entry level package. That's the main thing, you're going to sell, the main thing people to come to you for. Package 2 could be photography add-on. And then package 3 could be your most expensive, right? Like
gotcha.
Minute by minute phone calls, or like whatever that may be. So actually, now that I look at your website, the photo of the baby is wonderful. You could alternatively have a photo of yourself as, I'm here to help you to have the most amazing birth experience possible. My name is Bethany, right? So you could also lead with that.
Okay.
Right? Like all your services, all the things you provide. I mean, and actually, I'll ask you, what's the ultimate outcome you want for your moms?
To have an amazing birth and have documentation of that amazing birth as well.
I mean, literally, if you had a picture of you and it was you front and center, and it was you with a mom and she just gave birth, she was so happy. Like, my name is Bethany. I want to give you the most amazing birth, or I want to give you the birth that you deserve, that you've been dreaming about, something like that.
Perfect.
And
yeah,
you are
my coach told me that yesterday. So
yeah,
that's comfortable. Yeah.
And literally, and again, I love everyone's hearts don't want to make it about you. In your business, Bethany, you're not making it about you. Because remember that slide I just showed, your character is a mom. What's the problem? She's worried about capturing every moment of her birth. She's worried about being supported. She wants the great photos. She wants somebody there to hold her hand. We use a doula. I know this. Like, I'm speaking firsthand. I'm your target audience. Awesome. You're the guide, Bethany. You're the ones with the, I know what it's like to not and again, I don't know your story, but like, I know what it's like to not be able to capture your, you know, your
Yeah.
birth, every moment of your birth.
Yeah.
Do you have a story like that?
I do. Yes.
So that's what I would do. Actually, I would put you on this. I would tell your story more.
Okay.
But great, you're doing a great job if you're already in a group that's going over the StoryBrand.
Yeah, it's an amazing group. So
I'd have a menu that says services I provide.
okay.
Doula, birth photos, maybe some. What another question people can ask is, what do people search for in Google when they're looking for somebody like me? And create a page for your website. So like if they need, if somebody would search birth photos, have a page called birth photos for the SEO reasons, so people can eventually land on it.
Okay.
Dual, you know, whatever your town is, like doula, like I'm in Atlanta, so it'd be like Atlanta doula.
Atlanta doula. Okay.
Right. I love that you
Gotcha.
have a call to action. I think begin your story is okay, but if we go the route that we're talking about, I think you can have something more like book your appointment, schedule a call, meet with Bethany. If you know,
Gotcha.
I know you were doing this current website on a different kind of approach, but if you do it the way we were just saying, that would be a good call to action.
Yeah, I like that.
You have any other questions? I love what you're doing though, Bethany.
No, I think you kind of answered it. Like I said, I think my biggest thing has just been trying to fuse the two together and make it cohesive.
I would call yourself a birth expert. Like I know you're a doula, but like I mean, what other services do you have? Photography, doula, what are the other things?
Lactation consulting, holistic type thing. Pretty much everything that has to do with pregnancy and birth.
Okay, what'd you just say, Bethany? Everything that has to do with pregnancy and birth. Like
yeah.
you can see that being a line on your website.
Yep.
Picture of you. I'd call you call it a birth consultant, birth. You know, I love this thing about being a concierge. For some of you guys that have a high-end service where you have a lot of touch points, that's a concierge service.
Yeah.
White glove concierge. We take care of everything, so you don't have to. I like that for you, Bethany.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, well, great job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, I know we've got about 10 minutes. Let me go and I want to. If anybody else has a question, as I continue.
I just want to say, you know, what Danny's doing right now is what he does every day at 11 a.m. on his Clubhouse room. StoryBrand, roasting your website using StoryBrand. So if we don't get to you today, go visit his Clubhouse.
Yep. Thanks, Jim. Okay, so this is Cassandra. So Cassandra, you can unmute your phone if you'd like. First of all, I love that Cassandra actually has some really clear descriptors here about what she is. Like she's first of all, I love Cape Cod, but Cape Cod photographer. Like how clear is that, right? Awesome. There will never be a summer like this. Always remember your time on Cape Cod with a professional portrait. I mean, let's just clap for Cassandra, right? Like just being very, very clear. I know right away that that if you visit Cape Cod and you want to capture the moments of being on Cape Cod, she's going to help you to do it. Is that right, Cassandra?
Yep, exactly.
That is perfect. This moment in time won't happen again. Hold on to it forever with beautiful photography extraordinary your loves. So, you know, you're somewhat even provoking the problem, which is amazing. I think you're good enough. You could probably get even clearer, like especially if you're trying to capture you know, that the visitor to Cape Cod for the first time, right? Like, but I think you're really spot on, honestly, with what you're doing. And then you have the types of photos that you do. You've got a call to action button, let's talk. You've got a meet Cassandra section. It sounds like you've read StoryBrand, or you've at least tried to do it on your own, right?
I've been trying, yes.
I think you're doing a great job. Is your business usually for locals or for people that are vacationing there?
With the high school seniors, it's probably about 50-50 locals and vacationers, but the families are probably more like 90% tourists.
Where does most of your revenue come from? The tourists or the locals?
It's about 50-50 actually.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But most people come to you because they're trying to capture the beauty of Cape Cod.
Yeah, and like the tourists who are extended families who haven't been together, in a few years, and they're all getting together. They all rented a big house on the Cape and they want to do photos. So
You could probably even, like, Cape Cod photographer, I'm sure you did for SEO reasons, which is smart. You could probably reverse these sentences and say, beautiful photographs to help you and your family remember your trip in Cape Cod, or capture the beauty of Cape Cod and your family with a beautiful portrait, or just, you could probably use that as your headline if you wanted to play around with things. But honestly, overall, you're doing a great job on the site. Truly.
very good.
Yeah. Great job.
Thank you.
All right, let me go back to the chat and get the next site. Studios.ms, I think that's right. Oh, that's not coming up. Studiom.ms. Okay, great. I don't know whose this is, so feel free to unmute if you want.
That's mine, Sherry.
Okay, hey Sherry, thank you. Okay, let's see. Studio and photography, the art of life and fine art portraits. Okay. And that tells me right away you do fine art portraits, right? Tell me about your business, Sherry.
So I mostly do children, family, and high school seniors would be my primary. And then business branding would be my secondary.
And I'm not familiar with the fine art niche, but what does that mean exactly?
So just that you mentioned the word concierge before, and I really like that. So I might incorporate that, but like, we handhold our clients through the entire process, from consultation, clothing recommendations, helping them design a piece for their home to display. And then we also offer in-home installation of their artwork.
So what I hear you saying is like this photo, you'll do this style for families, like custom?
Correct.
Okay. Is this the primary moneymaker for you?
Believe it or not, my primary moneymaker is my Santa experience that I do in October and November.
You said Santa?
Correct.
Okay. What after that, what is your primary moneymaker?
Then it's seniors.
So this photo, like the fine arts, isn't primary?
Well, each niche that we offer is more of a luxury experience. So, like, we're going to do that process with every client, no matter whether they're children, a family, a senior. The only thing that we don't do for our Santas is we do not do the consultation. We just go ahead and let them select their date and schedule for our Santa experience.
Okay, so you do the fine art style, like in that second revenue bucket is with the seniors.
Correct.
Okay, interesting. So first of all, I'd put your menu at the top. I know it's probably being kind of, I mean, of course you'd want to be creative, but I'd put your menu at the top, and there's nothing really here about seniors. You've got the fine art, but mixing, like having a headline that says something like, awesome senior photos with fine art touch, right? Or just kind of showcasing that a little bit more. You've got this photo is darling, right? But it's of kids. So if the primary moneymaker outside of the Santa thing is the high school seniors, I'd show a high school senior photo and really just come out right and niche down and say that that's primarily what you do. And then similar advice, right? Like, what is the like when people come to you, what are the problems that they're having?
Okay. That's where I struggle. I struggle with identifying the problem.
Yep. Yeah, it's hard. I'm gonna have a free some free resources for you guys, because I know like in a call like this, it's hard, but it is hard to do your own messaging. It's hard to see the forest from the trees. You guys are so close to what you do every day. But again, one way to think about it are, what are some of the issues that your customers say that they have when they come to you, right? Because people try to solve the problems on their own and they can't, right? Another way to think about it is, like, maybe some of your competitors, like where have they gone before and they weren't getting the thing that they want. So I would just honestly clean your website up a lot. I love that you have scheduled a consultation, but I would just try to start using a little bit more language to guide people through a story, right? I don't really see you on here as well. So honestly, similar advice that I gave other people, like, let's just really kind of narrow down what it is that you do. Let's put that front and center. Let's provoke the problem. Let's have a 3-step process. Step 1, step 2, step 3. So yeah, I know it's probably hard to implement some of this. We're going kind of fast, but similar things, honestly.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, I've got about 8 minutes. I wanted to start wrapping up. So first of all, I know this is like actually a lot more people showed up than I anticipated. So I wanted to thank you guys. If you're watching this on the recording, thank you for watching. Jim wanted me to give you guys some help. So I do run a consultancy, but I'm working on a product called 1 Week Website. If you go to oneweekwebsite.com, in fact, I'll put it in the comments here. Getting a website that's story branded that makes it easy for you to write your content is hard. The problem is that do-it-yourself website builders are really difficult to use, even though they're cheap. You don't know what words to write on your website, as we've all kind of gone over. And custom websites are too expensive and overkill for what you need. So I do run a sales and marketing consultancy on the side. That's more of like my custom services, but I know for a lot of photographers, price is a big deal, right? When it comes to websites. So if you go to oneweekwebsite.com, if you're interested in this service, we're going to come out with like a monthly offer. It'll probably be between like $149 a month, like start at right around $149 a month. But we're working on this product for photographers where you can pick a photography design. You can watch me actually teach on a video that will walk you through step by step to write your own words, to write your own copy according to StoryBrand. And then you could essentially launch a beautiful photography site that's clear in 7 days without having to drop thousands of dollars. So if you're interested in that, I would encourage you to go to oneweekwebsite.com. Jim will send this out afterwards as well. And we are in our beta process. So you'll see a button that'll say join the beta. If you want to click that button, give me your name, email. I don't spam. We're not going to do any of that crazy stuff, but we are looking for some photographers to trial this product. And in exchange, you'll get like a lifetime discount of like maybe $99 a month. So if you're interested in redoing your website, or you want us to, help you out, I would do that. If you're not interested in that, and you really would just love some free resources to help you do all this on your own, maybe you love your Squarespace website or your Wix website, and you just want some resources where you can write your own words, you have a designer or a web developer, then what I'm going to do, Jim, is first of all, I'll just tell you now, there's a book called Building a Story Brand. I'd highly recommend you buy. There's a book called Marketing Made Simple. If you go to Amazon and just search Building a Story Brand, Marketing Made Simple, there are some templates and frameworks in those books that are amazing. That's what I'm licensed for. So again, I'm not trying to pitch you 1 Week Website, but if that's you and you want to do all this on your own, go buy those books. There's also an online course called businessmadesimple.com that is the video version of the books. So I know I just threw a lot at you. I will provide that to Jim, and he can email you guys with those resources. And I'll also give a fourth resource, which is a free, it's called a brand script builder. So that story thing I just showed you where it's like, what's your hero? What's the problem? It's the Business Made Simple course will actually walk you through doing that on your own. But there's a free tool if you already kind of read the book and you get it, where you can kind of make your own brand script yourself. So anyways, Jim, we got about 4 minutes. So I'll turn it back over to you and see if you have any other thoughts or questions.
No, hey, thank you so much, Danny. This was absolutely awesome. One thing nice about this one is you concentrate only on photographers here, where your daily one, you go all over the place. But I find that of value too. Learning about, how church websites should talk about their brand and or whatever genre their business is. So that's fabulous. I'm thankful for everybody showed up. I'm sorry we didn't get to go through everybody, but hey, we only have so much time to get done. And as again, Danny, if they want to get a hold of you, what do they do?
Yeah, what I would say, first of all, if this is helpful and you guys want to do this often, Jim, I'm happy to do it as often as needed.
Awesome.
So just let me know. I would say if you guys are interested in the 1 week website service, again, go to oneweekwebsite.com, click the sign up for the beta, give me your name, give me your email. We're probably in a couple of weeks I'm going to email everybody that signed up, and we're going to have a demo to show you how the process works, how much it is, answer all your questions, because I know there's a lot of questions there. I would say that if you're not interested in 1 week website and you want to get in touch with me directly, so my consultancies, I'll put it in the chat, storysells.com. So you can go there. There's a chat bot. You can get in touch with us. If you need more custom work, you can reach out to me. And then on Instagram, I'm just Danny Peavey. You can follow me there. And then like Jim said, every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, I do a clubhouse called Roast My Website. And I just try to help as many people as I can. So, and then like I said, I'll send you the free resources to
Please
email out
do,
to everybody.
yes.
Yeah.
I'll send that out as a newsletter when I get it from him. So if 2 minutes left, does anybody have any final questions or anything, or I'm going to shut this down?
Can I ask about putting the about you bit, Danny? Whereabouts should we be putting that in the framework? Framework.
That's a great question. So Marketing Made Simple, that book, if you buy it on Amazon, I think page 18 actually has the template to follow. But I like the empathy section to be probably in section 3 or section 4. Okay. And I encourage you guys, like for clients that I meet with one-on-one, like 70% of my clients cry. And that's why, like, I was in the big corporate world for 12 years and moved into the small business, medium business world, because I love all of us. Like, we all have hearts of gold. We are all trying to make money, but we're really trying to help people. I would encourage you guys to tell your story. If you have to write your story out 3 pages, you have to cry and do it on a Sunday morning like I do, right? Do that exercise, right? But then condense that thing down, right? Or get a loved one where you can tell your story in about 3 paragraphs. Then people can click the read more and have that go to your about page. But guys, tell your story. There's a lot of you guys on this phone, I just feel in my heart, like with stories that are unbelievable. Those stories need to be told. So section 3, section 4 is where I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. And you guys all know how to get a hold of me. Just respond to the emails I send out. And if you want to see more of these, let me know, or have any other topics, I'm open. But anyways, thank you.